What do you get when you throw two natural born intuitive mediums together with a passion for animals and empowerment?
Spirits, angels, and guides. Oh my. I'm empowerment medium Tara Diana.
And I am intuitive medium Nancy Brady. Together, we focus on the good,
The bad,
and the ugly of working with the spirit realm.
but mostly we're focusing on the good.
Hey everyone, it's that time of week where we're coming on with some good messages. Hello, Tara.
Hello, I'm ready.
So this week we are going to be talking about types of tools and different communication styles and all of that. And how does it all fit in with the work that we do?
Yeah, it's interesting because we're all different flavors, right? I mean, let's be honest, we're all different flavors. And that's what makes us unique, and that's what draws certain people to us, and certain people to other people, and I'm very, very like jaded in my work. Like, I do my work the way I do my work, and that's the way I do my work, and whoever's in is in and who's not is not. But I do believe that the act of mediumship is everything, is full on everything. If you are doing card readings, you're doing mediumship. If you are doing energy healing, you are doing mediumship. Nancy, if you're talking to animals, you're doing mediumship.
Yeah.
So everything else is extra in my books.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I kind of think the same thing. I mean, personally, it's interesting. When I first started training under a few different mediums, for me, the tools are just that. It's an add-on. It's one of those things that for me, it almost reinforces the message that I'm getting. So for the sitter, they're sitting there, they're going, this is amazing. Mom is coming in and telling me this and this and this. And then you follow up with, say, a few oracle cards or something like that. And then they go, oh my God. And it's a physical confirmation of what we've just heard from spirit that makes the sitter go, okay, this is cool. Because I find a lot of times people were very physically tangible in the sense that we need that evidence. We need that physical evidence and proof of what is actually happening, what's going on. And so the tools kind of come in and help out with that a little bit.
I'm gonna say two things here. One, you are absolutely 100 baby correct when you talk about tools. As a evidential medium, when I do evidential mediumship, I tend not to use any tools. I just give the messages, right? I'm just connecting to spirit. I download fast. I talk fast. I talk fast on here. I'm sure people are like, oh my God, I didn't catch a word edgewise. But here's the thing, is that when I'm downloading. What I love to do is at the end of it, show them how spirit was right on the mark. Because every card I will pull will be in correlation, will confirm, affirm, whatever word you want to use, baby, everything that I've given them. So now they've got something they can look at and be like, damn, she was good. Spirit gave her the information. Because here's the other thing. When someone talks as fast as I do, and I am firing information off, and I say things like, do you understand? Do you get it? Are you there with me? Are we connected? Do you still feel it? Blah, blah, blah. It's so easy to get lost, right? It is so easy to get lost, and I can't slow it down. So people say, well, just ask your guide to tell you to slow it down. And I'm like, you just ask my guide. So this is my personality. This is how I ramp up, and this is how I go. And this is what also, Nancy, feels good to me. So, it's good to have those cards down. Sometimes people might not even understand what you're really saying because it's just so much information, and they're emotional and they're in that space. So you can show them a card and they'll be like, all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, I see it. Oh, I understand that now. I can take that.
Yeah.
So I have no problem using cards on most of my social media when I'm out there. I think I know you do this. I don't think I know. We use cards because it's a nice, easy flow. Sometimes it's not as easy to just be popping in, doing TikTok. TikTok is cray when it comes to doing lives. I might have like 80, 90 people popping in, out. You can't even tell who's staying. I have to have Kiara help me because you can't tell who's in and not. And how do you pop in and out of spirit, bringing a loved one's message through when someone popped in, you connected, and then they popped out? You don't know if they're still there. It's dumb. So having this nice way to just flip those cards is such a beautiful way, and it's still mediumship.
Yeah. And I love that you said it's your personality and your style, because one thing I've noticed, and this is actually a really cool correlation, so I'll be very interested if people want to wade in on this. One of the mediums I was learning under, it's very much about personalities, and I'm a Taurus, and her husband was an astrologer, and she was saying, different zodiac signs of mediums will receive and interact differently. So for example, I'm a Taurus. I'm a bit more slow moving. I do talk fast in the sense of the download comes quick. But what I do is I use a pen and a paper so that I get all the messages. I write down quick words that kind of got it. And then I talk fast to the client sitting in front of me. I find it easier because then I'm not missing anything, right? Whereas you're a Scorpio, you're full on. Like you download, you shoot it out. You don't need to slow down and match that energy somewhere. And I find I'd be very interested to see all the different signs of mediums out there and how their communication style works.
I will tell you, when you said, "Oh, I write it down," I was like, "Sweet goddess, if I did that, I would be so far gone. I'm squirrel anyway." Nancy, I was on TikTok the other night, and I literally had to stop and take a breath. And Kiara's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I can't keep up. I'm like, holy sweet goddess. And I thought Facebook was, I can be really fast on Facebook. That was nothing, my sweet babies, compared to what I was firing off in TikTok. But Nancy, that is such an interesting point, because I am definitely a Scorpio through and through. I think of my Scorpio as in every house, every moon, rising, sun, falling, whatever it is. I don't know any of that stuff, but I am a Scorpio as they come. But I wanted to share something, and this just takes it to a bit of a different space here right now, is that when I first started doing the work, and when I say that, I started off in a spiritualist church. So my journey was finding a church after I lost a child. My sister directed me to the church. We've always been into all of this stuff. And she was like, "Hey, I found this spiritualist church. And like, lady, it's like 5 minutes from your house." I was like, "No way." So off I went to this church. And that's another story for another time. My point being is that when I was opening up and starting to kind of figure out what I was doing, the etiquette to it, I cannot wait to talk about etiquette. Oh my God, I cannot wait for that. But there was these reverends, Gloria and Martin Broff. They have both since passed over. Hello, Gloria. Hello, Martin. Lovely English mediums that were here, and they had their own church, and they were working with all the spiritualist churches or communities, centers, whatever you want to call them. And Martin was on platform, and I was sitting at the back because even back then, I was running the FUSC's greetings from spirit. And I was sitting back there, and he said, "Tara, can I come to you?" And he brought through both my cats to it. And I thought that was so sweet. And I was like, "Oh, hello. Hello, Bailey. Hello, Sammy." I had a cat named Sam, too. I have a dog named Sam right now. Anyway, he said something that stuck with me. He said, "Tara, you don't need cards, right? Just out of the blue." And I said, "Pardon?" And he says, "You don't need to use the cards. They're just a tool for you that you don't need." And when he said that, I am not kidding you, my confidence in my mediumship went tenfold. I don't know why. I don't know. I never felt anything good or bad about the cards. I just used them because that was my way of connecting at that point. But my mediumship just popped. But I love the cards. I love using them. And since I've met you, though, I got to say, I've gotten like 900 decks. What is that? Seriously, what is that?
I think it's because I have a problem. I collect crystals. I collect oracle decks. I like to collect things. It's part of the Taurus. We like to squirrel away beautiful things. And yeah, it's very interesting because one of the mediums I studied under, she encouraged us. Now I'm going to set you off here in about 5 seconds.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. She encouraged us to have a deck to fall back on. So when we were starting to do our and we were really insecure, she's like, then you can pick up your deck and you can pull some cards and then you don't feel insecure. And oh, by the way, she also said, fake it till you make it.
Okay, stop. Not utter another word, my sweet, sweet woman. Let me say this. First of all, as beginners, as people learning how to use their intuition, and if they are wishing to give messages, I'm not against having a deck of cards there to fall back on. I know that there are people who are more attuned to the tarot card than they are to their mediumship, but would like to expand on the platform, and so they like to hold their cards. It's like a security blanket, right? I used to suck my thumb, so it's that kind of thing. Fake it till that you make it.
Right?
That's
So-
what I would have been like. Give me my money back. You ain't mentoring
Right.
me. Nowhere, no how, no way. What the fluff and flop? Can I swear?
No.
I can't.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, what the
And I
fuck?
mean, we'll definitely deep dive on that when it comes to the ethics and integrity behind the work that we do. Because at that point, she really kind of lost all street cred with me. Like I was like,
Right?
like, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Because it was that I totally understood the security blanket of the cards, but it's also like you've done platform with me. You find I still, out of habit, will carry a deck of cards with me. I rarely use them when we're doing platform together, if at all. But I do enjoy when we're doing our lives having cards there.
Me too.
It's a quick pull. It's a quick message. And I just love how beautiful they are. I love that each one tells a story, and then I can interpret it when spirit's working with that card. So if I pull a card, I don't keep the books with the decks. That's their interpretation. I look through the cards, and spirit uses it as a TV almost, I guess is the best way to put it. So here's an image, download a bunch of message. I don't, when you're first starting out though, the books are great because, I used to.
Never use them, Nance. Never. I've
when-
never used them because for me, me, when I'm pulling cards, I'm like, everyone's like, what deck's that? I'm like, I don't know. Because I throw the deck and the box, or the box and the book, I just get rid of it. It's just extra space in my very tiny room. So I don't do that. But I will say that if you were, and not everyone's me, right? So,
Yeah.
Having that book and looking at that sometimes is great. But for me, I just have never gone down that road. It was always like, okay, spirit, what do I need to know about this? I see the word, but the word is not even that important. What are you telling me? How does this relate to the person? Give it to me now. But no lie detected. What detective? No lie detected. When we are on and we are doing things like we're going to do, later tonight, you and I, we're going to go live on in the private Facebook group. When we do that, it's great to have some cards to just whip out. They're fast, they're furious. It's an easy download.
Well, and what I say though to like a lot of my students that come through is it's okay to keep the book. Like for example, I encourage them to do a card pull a day. You get your deck, and then while you're getting to learn your deck, you pull that card, totally get a journal, intuit what it is. Okay, you know what? I look at this card, I see this, I feel this, I think this. And then go about your day, come back, write how your day went, about your thinking, your feeling, how it was. And then if you want to, pick that book up and read what the creator wrote about it, right? There's no harm, there's no foul. And then journal about that, right? Because it really gets you to know that deck and work with it.
And everyone works differently, right? Like what someone's perception of the card is, as long as the readers don't go, or the new readers don't go into it and be like, oh, I was wrong. Oh, this is what it really means? Fuck you. That, you gotta, no. No, no, if that's what you got, is what you got. You've got to trust what you got. You got to trust it, baby. And I think that just getting a good look at that book and seeing that you got something different can be the most empowering thing, though.
I think so. And I always remind everyone too, to not let it disempower you. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean? Like, so whatever your interpretation is right. So that's, I think, something that's really important, is to not lose the confidence in the message, to trust the message. So, because the book is just that creator's interpretation.
Correct. And that's what I say to everyone. I am of the mindset, chuck the book, don't look at it. For the love of the goddess, you don't need a library of little books. That's what I would have right now if I kept all those books. I'd have this great wall of books, little books. But get rid of it. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. Nancy, what do you think about pendulums? Another tool that people use.
I'm chuckling because I remember having a conversation with my son, he's 25, about pendulums, and he's very much against them. He says, it's everything. You can make it shift whatever way you want. But I've seen some incredible things. Like I've gone, for example, on ghost investigations for fun, and I took a pendulum and literally held it there, and it started flinging on its own. So with every tool, there's a time and a place, right?
Sure.
I do feel that they pick up on, everything is creative energy, right? The
Mhm.
desk sitting at has energy. I do feel that our energy when we're holding it can physically affect the pendulum. But like I said, the one time I went on the investigation, it certainly wasn't me moving it.
I'm gonna say, oh, there's so many things in the metaphysical and spiritual world. I feel like I'm old and jaded, Nancy. So a pendulum, I've never been drawn to pendulums. If you come to my home, you'll see you've seen it, my pendulum tree.
Yeah.
I have beautiful pendulums, but do I touch them? The only one I ever use is my little skull. I don't even know where I got this, but my little skull guy, and I don't use it to do anything other than play with. The only
Me with my pendulums as well. They're decorative. They sit there. I love the stones because
dusty.
crystal. They're dusty. Yeah.
you know,
I
sorry.
work at a crystal wholesaler, and I used to have these ladies come in, and if you're listening, no offense to you, but they couldn't make a decision without their pendulum, and it was very bizarre to me. Like, is this crystal good for me? And they do yes or no, and I sat there, and I was just, mind you, these ladies were also the ones that would put an abalone shell on their head and say that they were like transmuting energy from source, and I had to look away from that because I was
Oh, Lordy.
yeah, so I would say no, I'm not so much into pendulums. Okay, so riddle me this. How about a Ouija board?
I love Ouija boards. Love them. I'm going to go back to the pendulum for 1 second, then I'm going to nail you on the Ouija board, baby. It's funny. I won't teach pendulums anymore.
Mm.
The amount of time and energy, my Scorpio patience was right out the door. Okay, everyone, hold this. Is it going left? Is it going right? And everyone would be like, I don't know. What do you think, Tara? And I'm like, I don't know. It's your pendulum. What is right? For me, it's just one of those things that has never drawn its attention. I really feel I'm the lazy medium. That's what I should have called myself, not the empowerment medium, the lazy medium, because I won't read a tarot book for what the Eight of Swords is. I won't sit around and wait for figuring out what my pendulum does. I'm that person. But I will have the patience for a good Ouija board. And we had the pleasure of using Jenny's at Halloween. Jenny's husband collects antique Ouija boards.
Fun.
And you weren't there?
Nope.
No, maybe you weren't. So, oh dear, next year. So
That's okay.
assume you're at everything we do. Okay,
We're allowed to have separate lives, Tara. It's okay.
we got us. Okay, so yeah, I find it's just another tool, and I stand beside my words of this. If you are afraid of a Ouija board, if you had a bad experience with a Ouija board, you would have had a bad experience with anything else, and most of it will be up here because you've been taught that they're bad and they're evil. They are just another tool that can be manipulated by our own minds. So get out of your headspace. They're not evil. They're not wicked. I will, again, there's the fighting words. I'll fight you. I'm not person that believes in demons, demonic, evil entities, all that garbage. That's all TV made up stuff. And if people are talking to you about that shit, Nancy Boo, you run, my girl, you run.
That sounds good. So let's change the focus here a little bit. I think we've covered some of the traditional standard tools.
Yeah.
Other than crystals, which is I think a whole episode. But what about communication styles? Like, let's talk about that a little bit, because one of the things I found fascinating is trance medium, or physical mediumship and different things like that. What's your stance on that?
Well, I'm a trance medium. So a part of the work I do is trance. I'm a conscious channeler and I'm a trance channeler. So trance mediumship for me is it's got you know how we talked about time and place? Trance mediumship has a time and place. You know, we have a really great trance medium, trance healer, Ricky, who's a friend of both of ours, a peer, and she's lovely, and the work she does is lovely. We do it very differently, Ricky and I. She has a very unique way of doing it. And trance mediumship is not for everyone, and it's not always the best message deliverer. Right? So I won't trance channel, you know, a loved one of someone's. I won't allow that energy into my body. Well, I'll allow an ascended master. I don't care what you guys believe. If you don't believe in the higher ups, but I will an archangel, an ascended master, a higher vibrational being, spirit teams. Absolutely, I'm open to that. I have great documentation of facial changes on me, voices, different languages. But I don't feel trance mediumship is for everyone. I don't feel trance mediumship is easy to incorporate into your metaphysical repertoire, if you will, please. Oh, there is a word, Nancy. If you will, please. And I don't feel, as I said, it is the easiest way to give a message to someone, because usually it's coming from a being that's higher evolved than us. So the message can get lost in all the wording, or, you know, that kind of stuff. Plus, you're not conscious in that one. In a trance channel, you're not conscious. So you can't come back and the client or the group or the individual say, well, I didn't understand this. Do you know what that means? The answer would be, hell's no, I wasn't there. I was somewhere else, you know, having, you know, cocktails, or for me, I'm standing in a field with a white horse. Don't ask me why, but that's where I am. So it's not always the best conduit. I think you have to be very careful where you use trance. And I'm also not a person who believes that people should be just running around doing trance by themselves. I believe it's nice to have a battery with you, someone that can bring you back. Not that people get lost, but if you're going on and the spirit's just having a heyday, because, hey, why not? I got this physical body here. I'm just going to talk until, you know, everyone falls asleep, including the medium. It's nice to have people around you that can hold the energy as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, you asked me?
Yeah. I've only ever done it unintentionally once when I was very new to this. And I didn't like it, to be honest. I was doing a reading, and a lady's grandfather jumped into me, and he was a Holocaust survivor. And it was one of those situations where it terrified me, in the sense, not that I didn't feel I had control. I knew I had control at all the times, but I am too much of a control freak. Like, I just need to be in my own energy with my own stuff. And to the point where the same thing, like, people in the room noticed my facial change. They noticed my hair, my became gaunt looking. I was kind of yellow. My eyes were yellow, and it was very, very bizarre. Is that what you would consider trance as well, or would that be something different?
I don't know. I've never seen. I don't believe. How do I say this? Loved ones jumping into bodies is not something I've ever experienced. I did have an incident recently where someone claimed that a family member of mine leapt into their body, and I just didn't. I didn't buy it for whatever reason.
And I don't know if it's even a leapt, as it was an energy merging, which I'm assuming trance is. Right.
Yeah, trance for me is when the spirit of the higher ascended being comes in and through and takes over my body. So I am removed, so they have the space to come in and communicate.
See,
but
I wasn't removed. I was.
So you were a conscious channel.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because that was also something that I was like, nope, don't like that. And
that would be a conscious channel, Nancy. Absolutely. You know, the person came in, you remembered everything that was said. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it sounds like it had a little bit of trance. If you had some facial transformation or whatnot, please. Again, that's not something I would ever. I mean, like you said, it was just something that happened. You were taken out of or by surprise is maybe the best way. But so our loved ones on the other side. Hello, friends. our loved ones on the other side, they are not a very high vibrational being yet. Not for a long, long time. So that's a low level energy coming into your body. And we're already low level beings trying to raise our vibration to be higher. So for me, that is not something I would allow. And like you said, it was at the beginning of your journey. So no wonder you didn't like it.
No, and I didn't allow it, and right away I pushed the energy back and out. But it was enough of an influence that when people looked at me, they're like, "Whoa," right? Just
Yeah.
that my physical features slightly changed, and I found that very interesting because, and I guess maybe that's what, I don't want to say turned me off of trance, but it made me kind of go, no, I think I'm good with how I receive and deliver messages.
Exactly. And if you ask me, if you were say, Tara, when did you become a trance medium? I would say, Nancy, I haven't the faintest idea. I never signed up to be a medium to begin with. Yes, I loved all this stuff. Yes, once I realized that there was something more and that I could learn the etiquette and kind of figure out what my flavor was. I was interested. I was in there, but I was going to be an angel card reader. I liked the angels. I liked the energy. It felt soft. Remember I was in healing at this time. I was healing from the loss of a child, and it repeats itself 20 years later. But I was in that healing space, Nancy. So angels felt good, right? And card reading is to me, it's somewhat easier than evidential mediumship. Let's be honest, evidential mediumship scares a lot of people because you have to provide evidence.
Yes.
So there is a big expectation, right? When you're giving those messages. With trance, there is a little bit less expectation, but almost not enough understanding, right?
Yeah.
Almost not enough understanding. I trance channel Kuan Yin, right? She's my master teacher. So when I channel her messages, I've listened to them. I'm never a part of them myself because I remove myself. But when I listen to them, I'm like, oh my, those are some serious words of wisdom. And I have to listen to it over and over to get the full experience of what she's sharing.
And I've witnessed you do this. And for those of our listeners who haven't, it's quite impressive because Tara's voice changes, even her features soften and change slightly. And she uses words she never uses in her day-to-day language or verbiage, which is why she was so impressed earlier with the words she was using. And it's very, very, it's very cool to experience. And to me, I feel that it's beautiful, right? Whereas, I don't want to turn our listeners off about my experience because, at the same time, that was just something sudden. But what I want our listeners to know is that when that happened to me, I was 100% in control. And when you do this, you're 100% in control. This isn't a possession thing. This isn't anything like that.
No,
I just,
no.
any listeners to kind of deep dive into a different area than what we're sort of talking about.
So let's just tap for 1 second. When I am in trance, I am removed from my body. Yes, I am. But my spirit team has full on got all the hook, line, and sinkers in there. They are doing their work. I do normally, as Nancy has watched and been my batteries before. I have people around me. I cannot get lost. I cannot twiddle off into la la land because I have set myself up for success in this. I have set my boundaries with my spirit team. Therefore, so shall it be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely love that. So, Tara, is there anything else you'd like to sort of cover before we wrap it up today?
Let's just talk really quickly. I mean, crystals, like you said, is a wonderful tool that I think there is not one person that would say that there is not a benefit of heightened empowerment when you use crystals in your readings and healings. But what about psychometry? Let's just tap for 2 seconds into psychometry. Do you want to explain what that is, Nancy?
Yes. So it's the ability to hold an item or an object and receive messages from that object. And okay, so this is also very interesting because I find the same can be done with crystals as well.
Yep,
Just
I agree.
some of the messages. So, you have grandma's ring and you give it to someone who's a psychometry reader and they can bring through messages from grandma. They can tell you kind of almost a psychic reading too about it, because the energy that grandma had was in that particular ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of cool when you think about it, right?
Yes, very.
Yeah. So I love that. And there's lots of people who do it. I don't particularly do it. It's not one of the things that I grab at. Oh, let's do some of this. I don't do remote viewing either. I can do remote viewing. I don't do remote viewing unless it's given to me specifically in a message. And I'm not a seer. So SEER. So those are like fortune. I was going to say fortune tellers, and I thought, oh my God, everyone's going to come at me. There's no such thing as a fortune teller, but they are people that get the glimpses of what is, well, they are foreseeing. They are seeing something that's going to happen. I wouldn't want to be a seer, Nancy, for love or money. Edgar Cayce, oh, poor man, because there's nothing you can do about 99% of that stuff.
Yeah. And just to explain to listeners who are sort of new to hear what remote viewing is and what, because I just feel we may have some new.
Yeah, go for it.
No, you go ahead. Explain what it is when you do remote viewing.
Oh, remote viewing is seeing the past. So, or going to a place. So, for example, Nancy, let's say someone said to me, hey, can you see where my dad is right now? And your dad's still physically alive. I can go back or not go back necessarily, but I can be like, oh, I feel like he's standing in a house and there is a brown couch behind him with a white throat blanket over it. And I feel like he's standing there right now and he wants to light a cigar, but he's afraid your mother's going to find him. So he's hiding.
And so this is what a skill that a lot of people that help with investigations, police investigations, lost pets, those sort of things that a person would use that sort of communication style.
Yep, that's exactly it. And I would love, Nancy, for us to down the road talk about mediums and psychics and police investigations and things like that. That should be something that we should take up. So I think we have covered a whole lot of stuff on there. We would love comments. We'd love to get your views on stuff. Remember, all of that, what Nancy and I talk about are our personal views, our experiences, how we have shaped and formed our metaphysical and spiritual journey. So what resonates with you, take it, embrace it, love it. What it doesn't, kick it to the curb, baby.
Absolutely. Take what you can, leave the rest. So, as always, thanks for listening, everyone. I am Nancy Brady, intuitive medium animal communicator with the lovely
Tara Nagy. Oh, Tara Nagy. Tara Diana. Now everyone knows my last name. You can all go dox me. Tara Diana, empowerment medium, fast talker, squirrel chaser. That's me.
Extraordinaire. So I think we might end up covering a little bit more on Edgar Cayce.
Oh, I think so. And some of my experience in England at the Arthur Findlay College.
Very cool.
Nice stuff.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Till next time.